tell y'all a story. Tell y'all a story that my daddy told me. And it's actually a story that he told me just so happened to be, in my opinion, literally funniest joke I ever heard. This is in my 45 years. This is the hardest I've ever laughed at a joke. It is the funniest joke I ever heard. So, my daddy's telling me a story about there's a man down in Mississippi, that in Greenville, Mississippi. That's where some of our people from. Uh, that's where we hail from. Most of my people now in Memphis on my daddy's side, but came from the SIP, Mississippi. And he's telling me a story about a time where there's this man who was riding into town, and man was riding, black man, he was riding into town on a bicycle. And this ride to town is about 45 minutes to an hour on the bike. Okay. So in the process of him starting out to ride, the chain broke on his bicycle. Okay. So the chain broke, and man is sitting there, he's trying to figure out, how the hell can he get the chain back together. Usually when the chain breaks, it's the linkage. One of the links fall out, or link breaks, bends, whatever, link pop. Gotta try to figure out how to get this chain back together so that you can actually ride. Just a little link. So he's sitting there and he's looking, and he don't have nothing that he can use to repair the chain. Now, in the time of him trying to troubleshoot this and figure this thing out, old Mr. Charlie is coming through. He owns a big farm uh, down there in the farmland, and he's heading into town in his truck, and he sees uh, man on the side of the road, and he notices the man. He said, "Hey, this man used to work, on my farm, some time back." He pull over. He said, "Hey, Bobby, what's wrong with your bike?" Bobby said, "Chain broke, boss." He said, "The chain broke." Oh, he said, "Well, look. Now I ain't gonna let you know me, and I ain't gonna let no nigga ride in my car, in my truck." He said, "But what I'm willing to do, because I don't want to leave you out here," he said, "what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this rope. He got just a little thin rope." He said, "I got this little thin rope." He said, "And you can tie it onto the handlebars, and I'll just, tie it onto the bumper of my truck." He said, "Okay." He said, "I'll tow you into town." He said, "You tow you into town, you go to the general store, you can get the link to fix your chain for your bike." He said, "Okay, Mr. Charlie." He said, I appreciate that." He said, "Now, if I, tend to go real fast or too fast, the little horn you got on your bike," he said, "you honk that horn and I'll slow down." He said, "But I'm gonna try to get you into town face because I do got somewhere to go, and I ain't gonna be dilly dallying with no nigga all day." He said, "So I got to get into town." He said, "But if I go too fast, then just honk the horn and I'll slow down." So they get in the car. I mean, so Charlie gets in the truck, and Bobby is being pulled in, and he's driving, and he'll honk the horn there once in a while, and Mr. Charlie will slow down. But the thing about Mr. Charlie's an old man. Mr. Charlie was hard of hearing, and he had a little touch of dementia, so he forgets stuff. So about 25 minutes into this ride, Mr. Charlie done forgot about Bobby on the back of this truck, towing him in. But Mr. Charlie remembers he got to get into town because he got an appointment. So Mr. Charlie actually starts laying on the gas. Now, because Mr. Charlie is old, he really can't hear old Bobby back there honking this horn. So Mr. Charlie done got up to about maybe 80 miles an hour, going flying down this dirt road heading into town, and Bobby's steady blowing the horn, and he kind of like waving like this. As he's riding, Mr. Charlie goes through one of the sheriff's speed trap. Now, for those of you who don't know what a speed trap is, a speed trap is basically you got a police car sitting here at a certain part of the road, and he clocking the cars that's going by. Maybe about a mile up, there's the actual car that's going to pull over the car that's speeding through. Hence the trap. I catch you here and trap you down here. That's what happens. So Mr. Charlie is riding, boom, doing 80 right past the sheriff's car, and the sheriff sees what's happening. So the sheriff gets on the walkie and he said, "Look here, Claude." He said, "Claude, I'm gonna tell you right now, you got a red pickup truck coming at you, and I'm telling you, ain't gonna." He said, "You ain't gonna believe this." He said, "What you mean I ain't gonna believe it, Sheriff?" He said, "You got a red pickup truck coming at you doing about 80 miles an hour plus." He said, "Well, hell, Sheriff, we get cars doing 80 in this speed trap all the time. What's not to believe with that?" He said, "Well, it ain't that this truck is doing 80 miles an hour that's hard to believe." He said, "The thing that's hard to believe is there's a nigga on a bike trying to pass this truck doing 80 miles an hour." Man, the first time I heard that joke, I died laughing. He said, "Well, what's hard to believe about a truck doing 80 miles an hour coming down this road?" He said, "It's a nigga on a bike that's trying to pass him." So he said, "It's a nigga going faster than 80 miles an hour trying to pass him." Hey, I appreciate y'all listening to that, man. I was thinking about my daddy before the show started, and that joke always makes me laugh when I think about my daddy. So, rest in peace, Pops. All right, let's get down to business. Can y'all hear me good? All right, good. Let's get down to business. So, man, I love that joke. But here we go. Now, for some of you who don't know, well, let me get this business out the way first, and let's hear about this fair use.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Okay, so barring this nigga that you see on the screen here,
Nice to see.
there is a show on OWN, which is the Oprah Winfrey Network, and on this show, on this network, there's a show that I guess has recently started, and it's called Black Women Own the Conversation. Now, I saw this and was intrigued. Black women, first of all, owning a conversation was the thing that intrigued me the most. I said, "Well, damn, black women own a conversation?" I said, "I need to hear this." And I began to watch, and I started to hear certain things. I started to say certain things out loud and was like, "Oh my goodness, what are they talking about? Or how is she saying this?" And before you know it, I said, "Damn it, I need to stop watching this and do a show about it." So here's the thing, first and foremost. You have a group of women, black women, that are sitting around. You got this one black dude who, in my opinion, seems to be the ultimate simp. And there's a lot of conversation going on, and there's just a lot of talk, and I get the gist of it. And what they're trying to do, I almost halfway commend them forward, because they are trying to have or attempting to have a conversation. And some of the things that they're getting on or getting to are very important, and they make a few great points. But here's my thing, and this is my problem with one particular group having an isolated conversation and not having So I'm okay with people having conversations. I'm okay with women just having conversations with women and men having conversations with men. The thing about those conversations is that there has to be, in my opinion, there has to be a coming together of those conversations. So yes, you can have your separate conversations with men and your separate conversations with women, but you don't get anywhere until you have a conversation together, which is why I like to have the conversation together. Because when you don't have the conversation with the other party that you're in relationship with, which is men and women, when you don't have the conversation together, then you tend to liken to what it is that you're doing and the fuckery that's going on in this one particular sex, and you begin to condone the bad behavior or make excuses for the bad behavior or not accept accountability and responsibility for the behavior that's going on. And this is a clear indicator as to how women, when they get together, how they would tend to do that. Men are held more accountable and are a little bit more responsible when it comes to self inventory than women are, when women are not tasked or being included in the conversation with the opposite sex. So when you're in a conversation with men and it's women talking, yes, women can have their voices heard and all of that, but women begin and they tend to just get into their own personal testimony and they just testify and they just begin to pour out what they feeling, and there's no accountability and no responsibility for what they're talking about. So therefore they don't change. They tend to just have the pity party, if you will. So women will get together and they'll get to talking about their experience and what's happening, what they're doing, what happened to them when they was 4, what happened to them when they was 14, what happened to them when they was 24, what happened to them when they was 34, and what happened to them when they was 44, and why they the way they are and they are at 54, and there's no accountability. There's just a story. So they'll talk about all of the things that happened to them, all the things they went through. Girl, I've been through so much, girl. It's been so hard, girl, to live this life, girl. I don't know how I made it. It's just so terrible. And all of them are joining in and be like, we know, girl, we know. It's so terrible, so hard to live this life. I know, girl. And they won't say, well, wait, you did this. You chose that. You made this decision. Now that you've realized that, accept the consequences of it and hold yourself accountable and be responsible for what you did and change. They miss that part. They miss that part, especially when they get together. And another thing too is that one of the things that I notice about Black women is that when they get together, they tend to just be so emotional that they can't really get anywhere. It tends to just be about not the story, but the telling of the story, to where they never get anywhere. So all it is just a pity party, if you will, and they don't call to action or bring about change. And I see that as just being one of those common things. It's hard to hold people or a group, it's hard to hold yourself to task when everybody's just listening to the story, when everybody's just hearing the story and not saying, well, wait, that was some fuck shit you just said, and that was some fuck shit you did when you said it. So what about that? They don't do that. They just sit back and just be like, everybody got their story, girl. Yeah, I know you killed all 8 of your kids because you wasn't feeling good. Them Mondays can be a motherfucker. And ain't nobody saying, well, hey, wait a minute. You killed 8 kids, bitch. Ain't nobody saying that. And saying, what's wrong with you for doing that? So that was one of the biggest things that I saw about that, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all, but when my uncle come into the show, I gotta stop and shout him out. Hey, what's going on? Please, if you are next to or by Auntie Connie, tell her that me, my wife, and Destiny, I'm so sorry we didn't call and wish her happy birthday. Matter of fact, if Auntie Connie, if you watching this on the replay, if you watching it right now, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Auntie Connie. Happy birthday to you. A nigga hold on to a song, won't he? Boy, I don't care where you at. I don't care what you do. I don't care no matter what city you in, a nigga will hold on to a song. It don't matter if it's the shortest song in the world or if it's one of the longest. Niggas hold on to a song. But hey, shout out to my auntie Connie. We tried to call you. I swear for Lord. We tried to call you when we was all together, but the baby was asleep one time. I forgot another time. Football was on. I got shot. My cousin died. My homie was in a car accident. It was just a lot going on, and we just couldn't do it. We couldn't get together where we was all alone. And by the time we remembered, it was literally 11 o'clock at night, and we knew it was too late, and the baby was asleep. So I'm so sorry, but we will call you tomorrow, and we will wish you a happy birthday with all of us. But love you, Auntie Connie, and shout out to my aunt. All right, getting back to what we was doing, to the mission here. So what I wanted to do here, I wanted to point out the good, I wanted to point out the bad and the ugly in this show, because I think that there's some value in this. There really is. There's really some value in this, and there's some good parts to this, but there are some areas in here that I just totally just wasn't on board with and needed to call that out too. So hopefully somebody can watch this and watch that show and actually get some good stuff out of this, and this can be a thing where they can actually take some stuff from this and become a better version of themselves. That's my goal here. So for anybody that's watching this, because I've been having people put this on my comments in my videos, let me tell y'all something. People that put the comment, just playing the damn video, why you keep stopping the video? Sir, if you want to just watch the video without hearing my mouth, because hey, I'm an acquired taste, and I could be a voice that you get tired of hearing. Everybody don't like the sweet sounds of Brian. Everybody don't like the sultry sounds of my voice. I get it, but this is a breakdown. It's a commentary. It's me giving my opinions of the video, yes, video, as we watch it. So that's what I'm doing. That's why it's on my channel. That's why I have my channel. And that explains the abrasion on your palm. I don't know if anybody gonna get that, but whatever. I ain't gonna block them because I ain't that large and in charge yet. I can just block me. I can't. I need the views and I need the traffic on my channel, so I can't just do that. D. But hey, I just want to explain to y'all up front. That's what that is for, and that's what that's about. It's a thing to say, hey, it's commentary. You gonna hear my voice. I am gonna stop the video from time to time and say what the hell I want to. Now, I don't know. Ronald got it. That Ace Ventura. Yeah, man. Proud of you there, boy. I can't set this phone up. There we go. Proud of you that there, boy. That Ace Ventura. Yeah. But hey, everybody else, my people that support me, y'all know that's why y'all here. So hey, we do our thing. I just tired of people fucking with us on the comment side of the game. That's all I'm saying. So here we go. I'm going to let this ride for a minute, and then I'm going to stop in, and I'm going to give my thoughts. And, hey, y'all go ahead and light up the comment section. That's what's up, the chat. Shout out to everybody that done joined on the United Guns of America. I see your old man, Grey Wolf, G Friend, Troy Sherman hitting them likes over there. Eugene Foe, that's what's up. I appreciate you guys. And everybody that's on the Relationship Rehab. I appreciate y'all. It's what's up. Thank y'all. My man Left Third, first one in the chat on the Relationship Rehab side of the game. And my man, old man Grey Wolf on the United Guns of America. And shout out to my brother Easy Eric Abrams. I love you, bro. All right, here we go, as Slick Rick would say. And shout out to my wife. She might be watching. I know she should be. Hopefully, if she watching somewhere, I love you, baby. Mwah, mwah.
To you?
Now, for those of you who don't know, that's the black lady who is currently starring on one of her own shows called Queen Sugar. She's also known as Aunt Vi on Queen Sugar. Vi, which is short for Violet.
A professor and author of Eloquent Rage, Brittany Cooper. Brittany, nice to have you. And she always makes you laugh out loud. Comedian and host of Nailed It, Nicole Byer. Thank you for being here. Welcome. For those of you at home, your voice can also be heard by joining in the conversation on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Black Women Own. All right, black people are 20% more likely to suffer mental health problems, but less likely to receive treatment. Tina, let me hear from you.
I think that there's value in sort of understanding that there's a range to mental illness, and that there's a level of anxiety that comes with being a human being. That anxiety becomes problematic when it is not addressed. When you feel yourself not being congruent with yourself, that's a red flag. And if you pay attention to the red flag, and there's all kinds of practices and strategies and exercises that are becoming more and more known, you can, at least at that beginning level, step in and take care of yourself. And a great question is, what do I really want in this moment?
So, first and foremost, let me get to the real thing. I personally think that percentage is higher than 20%. Well, matter of fact, let me double check on the stat. Hold on.
Right. Black people are 20% more likely to suffer mental health problems, but less likely to receive treatment. Tina?
Yeah, so he's saying 20% more likely to have mental problems and not seek treatment. I definitely think that number is higher. I would venture to say it's probably double that or triple that. Reason being is because I believe that there is a lot of us that suffer from not just, traumatic things, but I think that there is, because we have so much stuff that's going on in our communities, especially in the inner city communities, we have so much stuff that is going on that is not considered normal behavior, but it is normal to us. Things like living in high crime areas, Wild Hunters in Chicago, Inglewood, West Side, Gary, the Harveys, all of the ignorant areas, the East Side, the ignorant, just crazy, violent areas. There's so much fallout from living in those environments that we don't even acknowledge. People don't realize that, we talk about Chicago and it being Chirac, and we say Chirac because we're equating the violence to that of a war zone. Well, here's the thing with a war zone. With war zones and being in wars, there's a thing called post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic stress is something that a lot of us are suffering from and don't even know it. Do you realize that when most of us hear gunshots, it's not even startling to us? Most of us that live in the hood, you live in the hundreds, you hear ka 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 ka. Unless it's like really close, like it sounded like it's coming from your neighbor's house or something like that, most of us don't even get alarmed. We'll hear gunshots and won't get alarmed. You could be playing the video game and you'll hear gunshots. If you playing live, you ain't gonna even stop playing. But if you maybe playing 2K or something like that and you can pause it because you in your own season, you'll hit the pause and listen, and you're listening for yelling and screaming. You're listening for if a nigga is gotten hit close by, because you can hear the shots, and depending on where you at in your house, you don't know if those shots are how close they are. But when you pause the game, or you tell it, or everybody get quiet, what you listening for is, they done shot cornbread. That's what you listening for. You're listening for if somebody got shot or not, and if they're close enough to where you can hear it, because then if you hear niggas hollering and screaming, then you will go outside to see who got shot. That's the truth. We've been so, and I'm telling you this from personal experience. If I hear gunshots, if it's close by, I get my gun, and then I'll go first, look out the blind to see if I can see something. Then I'll turn off the porch light, and then I'll crack the door and open the screen door and listen, because you got the wrought iron screen door. Then I listen to see if I hear some scuffling, niggas running, cars peeling off. I'll listen for that. If I don't hear that, anything close by, then I'll step outside. Pistol in hand, surveying the land. Most people will hear the gunshots, listen to see if somebody's been shot or not, and if they can't hear anybody screaming, they'll go back to what they're doing. Now, I don't live in the hood no more, so if I hear some gunshots, I'm going to see what the fuck is going on, because that shit don't happen around where I live. That shit ain't, I don't do it. Don't you let me in no gunshot. I'm going out here ready to get it cracking. When I was living in Michigan, I heard some motherfuckers popping fireworks down the street at like 3 a.m, and I thought it was gunshots. I went outside with my gun. I see these white boys down the street popping off firecrackers. And I'm like, really, motherfuckers, at 3 a.m? And them white boys got in their motherfucking car and drove the fuck off. Like, goddamn, we woke this nigga up. See what I'm saying? But I don't do that, and I ain't gonna do that in the hood. So that's my thing with that. So there is a lot of mental things that we are suffering from. People getting killed, our homies dying, just like my man Derek Golson. Shout out to you, bro. Rest in heaven. Rest well, man. Most people would need therapy for that. An untimely, violent death of a close friend or a loved one, most people would need therapy for that kind of stuff. We don't. We have our moment. We cry. We'll bump some music, smoke a blunt, drink a drink, and we keep on pushing. We get up and go to work the next day. We go ahead and get on Facebook and be like, damn, my dog is gone. And we keep it moving because we've gotten conditioned to that. So I think that there are a lot of things, and that's why I say that number is so much higher, because there are a lot of things that we accept as the norm that we just don't even think to go and get counseling for. I can tell you the people that got shot in my high school. When I was at Julian, there was several shootings at our high school. Several niggas got shot at school. Nigga got shot in the mouth in the school, like 2 classes down during the class exchange, during change of classes. They didn't have not one motherfucking counselor come up to the school. Nigga dropped a gun in school in the lunchroom and shit. And a motherfucker did not even at one point even have a counselor come up to school to talk about it. Niggas was getting killed and shot up on 103rd right outside the school. Right up the block on Halsted. All them niggas used to get shot and fought and get their ass whooped at PG's. I remember when I got my motherfucking hat took, got stole on and everything up at PG's. What motherfucking counseling for me? Now I wanted to go back up there and air that motherfucker out. Shout out to my brother for making me do the right thing. Thank you, because I'll probably be in jail for the shit by now. My brother done saved me from shooting people twice, actually. Different story. But I'm just saying, it was normal for us. We just kept it moving. We didn't think about it. We took it in the moment. We went through that emotion and we moved on. And I'm sure that everybody can't do that. Everybody can't process that. And that shit begins to desensitize us. It begins to just psychologically think that's the way that things are, and we accept it as a way of life. So absolutely that number is higher. And like she said, when you feel yourself not being yourself, when there's shit that you are wrestling with, you can't sleep, you having problems functioning, your attitude is completely changed, whether it's you or you see it in somebody, get some help. Go talk to a motherfucker. There are free hotlines that you can just call and just talk to a motherfucker. You having suicidal thoughts? There's a free number that you can call and talk to. Talk to somebody. You feeling depressed? You just don't have the answers. You wondering and questioning, why did this happen? How did this happen? This is terrible. I don't know what. There are numbers you can call where you can just talk to people. But we don't do that. And I applaud them for bringing that shit up because it's something we need to start doing. There are things in life that you can't figure out on your own, but the greater majority of things that occur in your life that are traumatic, they need to be sorted out with you and a professional. Not your homies, not your mama, not your uncle, not your cousin, not your homeboys, not your best friend, but you need to sort this stuff out with professionals because they will help you actually go through it, get an understanding of it, and give you tools on how to cope and deal with it. That's why niggas don't do nothing but get high nowadays. That's why niggas don't do nothing but drink Henny. I'm gonna give me some Henny or some 1738 and I'm gonna just zone out, bro. That's a coping mechanism. You are literally trying to cope with what's going on in your life by doping yourself up, escaping.
Let me hear from you.
So we lost our son. He was stillborn. And
is, what do I really want in this moment? We have inner needs, y'all.
needs.
And nobody outside can determine what those needs are. And if we're not acknowledging them, who is?
Show of hands here, who's been to therapy before?
That was awesome.
Who's been to therapy but actually hid it from your friends and family? Let me hear.
And hey, let me tell you something. That ain't, if you gotta hide it, so be it. Go. I'm gonna tell you something that I learned about my cousin. And shout out to you, cousin. I ain't gonna put your name out there, but I love you, even though I don't get to see you as often, but I love you so much. But she went to counseling, and I didn't know that she was going to counseling, going to therapy until she said it. She just said it one day and was just like, yeah, I've been going to therapy for years. And I personally, I missed the opportunity to really like make a big deal out of it and congratulate her, but I should have. But I was so proud of her for being able to acknowledge that, hey, I ain't right. The shit I be thinking ain't cool. It ain't the right thing to do. And I struggle with my thoughts. Let me go see somebody. I was so proud of her for being able to assess that on her own and to then go out and seek counseling. And she said she had been going for a long time. That's what's up. And it's like, especially being in a place where, hey, you on your own, you doing your own thing, and she is a phenomenal person, phenomenal woman. I truly love her and admire her so much. I'm so happy for her and the life that she's living, and if it's the best life that she can live, I'm so happy that she's doing it. But she just made that, and I'm talking, she was doing that at a fairly young age. She was in her early 20s and was going to therapy. I'm like, that's what's up. But never like told nobody for whatever reason. But I'm just saying, those are the things in our families and in our friends that we need to encourage. And a lot of times, what do we do? Oh, you don't need no motherfucking therapy, nigga. That's for white folks. White people only go to therapy. White people only go see shrinks. Fuck that. Everybody can spend some time on the couch. I'm telling you that for sure. Everybody can. But I was so proud of her for being able to do that. Ain't nothing wrong with going to see somebody who can help you deal with life better. They give you tools. One of the main reasons why I have this conversation is just to have the conversation to get people to actually start talking, to give people a different approach to certain things that they may have in life. Because everybody don't have somebody like me. Everybody ain't got a Brian in their family or Brian that they can just call up and get some sound advice, some awesome advice, get the best advice in the world, just incredible, life-changing. If I'm just bullshit. But everybody don't have somebody they can just pick up the phone. And that was one of the most powerful things that I admire so much about Tommy. What Tommy does and the way that he does it, he's giving people some things and he's giving people an experience that most would not ever get in life. And he does it consistently on a regular basis, even though people may not like the way he's serving it up, but he's telling the truth. But then he has his moments where he actually makes, I'm talking about just ground shaking points that are life-changing for people. And had it not been for him doing what he does, those people would still be lost. Those people would still be in a state of not just being able to grasp and live life. There's no telling where a lot of people would be. I can tell you myself personally how much I've learned from that man. I can tell you how much personally I've benefited from just being connected to that dude this much. It's astounding. It's incredible. That's why I tell people all the time, all the singing that Tommy do, the jokes that Tommy does, the remarks that he makes, when you get past the bitches and the hoes and the niggas ain't shit, when you get past all of that, he's one of the smartest men I've ever met. He can sit and tell you, I ain't shit, I'm a liar, I lie. He can tell you all that bullshit he want to tell you, I'm ugly, all that shit to the back. One of the smartest men I've ever met. And I've met a lot of motherfuckers. I know a good deal of people. I know a lot of people. One of the smartest dudes I've ever met. Easily top 5. I like him and I love him so much, I'ma say top 3. I'm talking just like ask him anything, talk to him about anything. He has sound, solid, great advice, incredible perspective, wonderful insight. I'm just saying that's the truth. That's the truth. When you talk about, he knows how to ask the questions to get you to the solutions that you're searching for. That's not something that just comes with everybody. Everybody don't have that. That dude is, in my opinion, a genius. You take all the laughing and the giggling and the jokes and the funny stuff, take all that away and look at the content and the idea and the just the actual concept of what he's saying and what he's doing. It's genius. It's true work. It's gold, platinum, diamonds. It's invaluable.
From you.
So we lost our son. He was stillborn. And I was raised to be strong. And what happens in my house stays in my house. And there was just no examples of women going to therapy. So I felt like I had to be able to hide it and manage it myself without really letting other people know that maybe I was weak or maybe needed help or maybe didn't pray enough. So.
What made you finally break through that, though? What made you finally say, even though there may be lots of things telling me don't try it, I'm going to go ahead and try it.
Well, the hospital actually suggested I go to therapy. And first I was like, no, I got it, I'm good. But then I realized I wasn't good and that I needed help and I needed to talk to somebody who could understand. And that was kind of the problem as well with having a stillborn. I didn't know anyone else that had suffered from that. So who do you share and talk to when no one has said, hey, this happened to me? So what do you do? So I was like, okay, let me go find somebody. And I found a group outside of my community where I wouldn't know anyone to get help and try to find support.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Brittany, talk about that a little.
Now that was incredible. That was true, just straight up. When I heard that, I was like, now that's some value. That's some straight up value. What she said and what the whole thing about what happens in our house stays in our house, that's an age-old black folk thing. That's what niggas do. That whole concept, what happened in this house stays in this house. That's that classic black woman, we got secrets and we know it and we ain't gonna never tell nobody else because what's our secret is our secret because we don't want our business out in the street. We don't want nobody talking about us because I spend all my time talking about everybody else. So I can't be talking about everybody else and ain't nobody talking about me. And then everybody talking about me. That's where that came from. That's where that came from. So that's why when the uncle is fucking the niece, when the auntie is fucking the niece and the nephew, when the cousin is fucking the other cousin, and the sister is raping the brother, when all that shit is going on, that's exactly why it keeps going on. And it happens so much that it becomes one of those things where, oh, that's just what we do. We fuck on each other, even though we young and we just do. That's just how it is. And then we wonder why we oversex. We wonder why all we do is thought and hoe ourselves out. We wonder why. Because we let it go on and don't nobody call the shit out until a motherfucker in their 40s. And they done let not only it happen to them, but it done happen to they kids as well. That's what it is. So it's like when you have that thing happen, when you have those things happen, you have to bring that shit out. But we so busy telling our kids they should be seen and not heard. We so busy telling our kids a child needs to stay in a child's place and they should be seen and not heard no matter what the fuck is going on with them. Because the same shit that happened to you either doing it to somebody else or you gonna let somebody else do it if you ain't calling it out. Everybody ain't perfect, I get it. But it still needs to be something where we don't let that become, that needs to get totally just disbanded from our culture. That cover up shit, I ain't gonna tell nobody shit, that I don't want nobody to know shit, that ain't where it's at, people. What's the saying? You as sick as your secrets. So you can't get better, you can't heal until you call that shit out. And I'm so glad they brought that shit to light.
Because I hear from a lot of people that being a strong black woman actually can be the cause of your struggle.
Yeah, because it's a lie. Yes, black women are strong, but the demand that we be strong in the face of that kind of tragedy is a completely inhumane demand. And we deserve better than that. And if it is true that we teach people how to treat us, and sometimes you gotta be a little vulnerable and say, I actually don't have it all together, actually I'm a mess. And then what you find out when you say that is that a whole lot of sisters were struggling too.
Nicole, what do you hear when you hear that? Have you had any version of that experience?
I love therapy. I don't think it makes you weak to ask for help. I think, if anything, it means you are strong. I need somebody with a perspective far from my friends, someone who doesn't have actual stakes in my life, who cares about me, who can listen to me every week and go, girl, you are okay, and
You tell me a motherfucker that looked like she about motherfucking 35 with all white motherfucking hair as a hairpiece. You tell me that motherfucker don't need no therapy. And here's my thing. I don't know what it is about black women holding and embracing and carrying this mantle on being strong. That is not an attribute you need to be proud of. Being a strong black woman, what the fuck does it mean? Right, she got that foul core going, Rich. A luck dragon. What does that really mean? What does it really mean to be a strong black woman? It means that you make a lot of bad decisions, and then because you've made those bad decisions, you tough it out, and you don't kill yourself, and you just keep going in spite of all the fuck shit that goes on in your life because of those fucked up decisions you've made. That's not nothing to be proud of. And I don't understand why and it's like black women, y'all got this feeling the way y'all feel y'all need to be strong. No, you just have to endure the fuck shit that goes on in your life because of the fucked up decisions you've made in your life. The consequences of your choices is what makes life hard for you. That's what the problem is. You make the most fucked up decisions, and then because of those decisions, the consequences that you suffer because of that for the rest of your life, that's what you have to endure. And because it's so stressful, because it's so depressing, because it's such a heavy burden to carry, then you feel like you're strong because you've endured it. No. You survived your mistakes. You fucked up. That's it. I love you too, baby. But that's my thing. You have to realize that there's a thing to say, hey, I got to go through and deal with this consequence of me having a kid at 12 that I've lost a lot of my childhood. I wasn't able to be a child because I have done the worst thing in the world, which was have a child by some 28-year-old nigga that I thought loved me because I believed the shit he told me because I was 12, hot in the pants, and I liked the attention that I was getting from his old ass because I didn't have no daddy because my mama had a baby when she was 12. We grow up overdeveloped. So at 12, I had titties and ass like a 25-year-old. That's what it is. That's what it was. And now you have to suffer the consequences of that. And because because you endure that and you made it through that, then now what do you say? I'm strong? No, I just survived my fucked up my fucked up consequences. Hold on. I have to do something real quick. Y'all know this a hood ass show when the host just make a call in the middle of the show. Hold up. Wait. My wife leaves the longest message. Like, she reminds me of my mama when she do this. Oh my God. This is crazy. Hey baby, I just got your text message. I love you and I'll see you soon. Bye. All right, so that's my thing. So it's like we've got to realize that being strong ain't the thing. It's about making better choices so that you don't have to endure the fucked up consequences of making bad ones.
We'll get to be better than you were, but talking about it helps. I'm a pretty vain person, and I love to talk about myself. I think I'm beautiful. Like, I'm very interesting. I love it.
Yes.
But, like, your friends can only hear so much about your problems. So I go to this nice white lady named Mary, and she helps me so much.
Wait, hold on a second, because I hear from a lot of people that therapy is for rich white people. And two, I heard people say that if I'm gonna go to therapy, it needs to be a black therapist.
Sure, I get that. I get that you want to speak to someone who has your experience, but no experience is truly that different. Like, there's no reason to suffer. There's so many ways.
Now, she made a great point right there. You need to just speak to somebody that can help you. Shouldn't matter if they black or if they white. You get half-ass white therapists just like you get half-ass black therapists. It's just more white people in therapy than it is black people. White therapists than there are black therapists. Yeah, I'm good. So it's like you have to realize that you need to make sure that you find somebody, oh, I'm black, so I got to go see somebody that's black. No, go and try a therapist out. Just like a dentist, just like a doctor. You don't have to go and stay with the first one that you meet. Go and sit with somebody that you feel as though is helping you. Go and sit with somebody and talk with somebody that you feel is helping you and giving you some tools. If you're not progressing as a person, if you don't feel yourself changing and getting better, and all you doing is venting, and that motherfucker just listening to you, then they just taking your money. That's all I'm saying. That's just like with a doctor. If you going to your doctor, you going to see your doctor, and your ass ain't getting better, and all this motherfucker doing is prescribing pills and different kind of pills and other pills for this pill to work with that pill, that motherfucker ain't helping you. If your doctor don't have an active plan to get your ass to a healthier life or a lifestyle, you need to get another doctor. There are bad doctors. Black folks and just people, period, got this thing to where we listen to doctors and think that's God. That's it. We don't even go get second opinions. If you have a major decision, a major illness, a major trauma, or anything happens to you and your doctor's telling you you need to do this, great, I hear you, doc. Let me go get a second opinion. Why? Because doctors are, especially doctors that have large practices, just because you have a large practice don't mean you're a great doctor. It really don't. Doctors have big practices, and at the end of the day, it gets to a point where all doctors do, they're like computer technicians for humans. They troubleshoot. Thank you, Ashanti. Asante, I thank you. I appreciate that. Hitting the boy up with the super chat. I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you listening. Doctors have, they troubleshoot. They do this to see what happens if that works, see if that get it working again. If that don't work, they do this. Just like if I approach a computer, you talking about somebody who's been in the computer fixing game for over 20 years. Ain't it been over 20 years? Yeah, I started in 98. Yep, sure have. So you look at it like this. I go to a computer and I see it ain't on. They say the computer broke. Chain broke, boss. I see the computer broke. First thing I do is I check the power cord. Is the motherfucker plugged in? Is the power supply on? And I push the power button. Now, I done tried 3 things right there. I done checked it plugged into the wall. I done checked to see if it's plugged into the back. And I flick the power button on the power supply, make sure that's on. And I push the power button. That's 4 things. That's troubleshooting. You say you're sick? Let me listen to your lungs, make sure you ain't got pneumonia. Let me see if you got a cough, how bad your cough is. Let me see if you got green phlegm or if you... That's the same thing. Based on what I know, I'm going to say it's this. Either the power's out or you got a bad power supply or a bad motherboard because you're getting no power. A power supply can actually be functioning, but the power coming from the power supply cannot be cycling through the motherboard, which is why your computer won't turn on. Basic troubleshooting. That's the same thing a doctor does. You tell me what's going on, how you feeling, what happened, how long it's been happening for. Based on what you're telling me, I'll prescribe this. So it's like when you hear that and you see that happening, you make an assessment. That's what a doctor does. However, doctors are doing the same damn thing all day long. Most doctors only work 3 to 4 days a week. And while they're doing that, they're seeing anywhere between 10 to 30 motherfucking patients. So all they doing is flipping through a chart and talking shit. And if you don't stand out to them to where they take more interest in you, they could give you a fucked up diagnosis. They can say, hey, look, your power supply bad. I done seen this shit happen all day. I done had 20 other people come in and tell me they got a cold. You got a cold too. I've been doing it all week. It's Thursday. I'm tired. I know I'm off Friday, but I'm tired. It's Thursday. I done seen 85 fucking people all bitching and moaning about the same thing. I'm definitely more inclined to fuck up on a diagnosis every now and again, which is why you should go see another doctor. Get a second opinion, because that second opinion might say, oh, you went to your doctor and he told you this? Okay, well, since I already know that, let's try this. And can say, you know what? You don't have a cold. You got fucking walking pneumonia. We're checking you in. We're gonna give you some fucking fluids. We're gonna start you on a motherfucking some steroids and try to get your ass back online and try and get this fluid off your lungs. Had you stayed home another day, you'd be dead. That's why niggas be dying from the flu. From the flu and getting pneumonia. If you sick, let me tell y'all something. If you sick more than 3 days, 72 hours to be exact, you need to go to urgent care or the doctor. I don't give a fuck what people telling you. I don't give a fuck what you see on the news. I don't give a fuck what you hear about a bug going around. 3 days. No drastic improvement. I ain't talking about it cough. When I cough, it hurt on Monday, but on Thursday, I'm coughing, but it don't hurt as much. No. You still fucking coughing. You should not be. The human body should not suffer or be suffering from sickness for 3 days without drastic improvement. I get sick maybe once a year, and I ain't never been sick past 48 hours. After 48 hours, nigga, I'm on the upswing. I'm literally back to 80%. Thank God for blessing me with a wonderful immune system. My genes are impeccable when it comes to sickness. Your ass after day 2, if you coughing, you sweating, you ain't got shit going on, you fucked up, you done took you some NyQuil, you done popped you some vitamin C, you done had some Zyrtec and all that shit, and your ass wake up on day 3 and you still feel the fucking same, and you don't feel like, drastically better. Like at least you should be 50% better than what you was after 2 days. If you're not, take your ass to urgent care. Because that's when you think I can make it, I'll be all right, I'm going to get through it. It's just, this one just kicking my ass. That's when your ass fuck around and don't wake up. You go to the hospital or you go to urgent care and your lungs are 80% full of fluid. That's all I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making with this. Is just get a second opinion and go ahead and do what's best for you, especially when it comes to taking care of your health, mentally and physically.
Ways to get help.
Pain is overrated.
Yes.
It's
really
overrated. It's over. And look, I'm sorry.
No, it's overrated and it's real.
Right.
We have a responsibility to take care of ourselves by learning who we are. Our society has not given us those tools up until now.
Also,
Right.
yes.
And this is one of the reasons why I talk about, when we talking about gun control, when we talking about what's going on with the Second Amendment and all that, that's the biggest thing. All of these people that are doing these mass shootings, all of these people that's involved in all this gun violence, 90% of them have mental health issues. They have mental health issues because they don't have nobody to talk to, because they don't have no doctor to help them, because they don't have the right prescription, because even sometimes there may be a prescription that you may need to get you back on your shit. With all of the shit that's in our food, with all of the shit that's in our environment, there is some type of whether it's all natural or there's some medical drug or something to help balance that shit out. Sometimes that's the case.
White therapist was the one that was like, you as a black woman hold trauma. And all of us hold trauma from slavery. We hold trauma from the way that
That nigga Rich said you fuck around and get up out the bed and turn around and see yourself still laying there. Oh man, boy, I tell you, hell no. Like that nigga Tom, when he was getting on that elevator to go up to heaven, and he was dead, and that body was still there. He got hit. Was it about what did he get hit by? I forgot if it was a piano. That piano smacked his ass, and Tom was dead and was laying there. And he got up and was getting on that elevator and looked back and saw his ass laying there on the ground. That's exactly what that is.
we're treated currently. Like, you know, we have people out on the street being like, Black Lives Matter, and white people going, do they? You know, so it's just like, that's traumatic to hear and to see over and over and over again. And a white lady told me that. So like, if that's your apprehension to go to therapy to like take care of your nervous system, then girl, you gotta look in the mirror and say, that's not it. I'm making excuses. There's no reason why you shouldn't go to therapy.
Whoever tells black women that the things we want matter? We don't hear that what we want matters in church. We don't hear it from our family members. We certainly don't hear it from our employers. So sometimes that they're...
Okay, so here's my thing with this. This is one of those things where I'd be like, no, get the fuck out of here. So it's like this thing to where black women feel like let me play it again.
Yes. My white therapist was the one that was like, you as a black woman hold trauma. And all of us hold trauma from slavery. We hold trauma from the way that we're treated currently. Like, you know, we have people out on the street being like, Black Lives Matter, and white people going, do they? You know, so it's just like, that's traumatic to hear and to see over and over and over again. And a white lady told me that. So like, if that's your apprehension to go to therapy to like take care of your nervous system, then girl, you gotta look in the mirror and say, that's not it. I'm making excuses. There's no reason why you shouldn't go to therapy.
Whoever tells black women that the things we want matter?
Whoever tells black women that the things that we want matter, you know who should tell you that? Your parents. Your parents should tell you that the things that you want as not just a black woman, but as a black man, a black boy, a black girl, as a person. Your parents are the ones that tell you that. The world should not be responsible for telling you what you think or what you want matters. And this is one of those fucked up ideas that black women have where they think that the world owes them something. Black folks too, pro-blacks, they all think that the world owes them something. We gotta tell you this. We gotta support you. We gotta uplift you. No, those are things that your parents do. Your parents give you your identity. Your parents give you your self-esteem. Your parents teach you self-respect. Your parents teach you how to navigate through the world, regardless of what state it's in. That's not a thing that the world is responsible for. We're not responsible for telling you how you should feel and how you feel. Oh, we support you and we're with. No. That is not the world's job. It's your parents' job. Problem is, let's get back to a fatherless America. They don't have parents because you thought your strong black mama was enough to raise your ass, and it's not. You thought that not having a daddy was enough because your mama did her best and she gave you everything she had to raise you. That ain't enough. That's what women ain't realizing. This whole thing of y'all doing shit by yourself, look at the results. You got a bunch of broken, dysfunctional motherfucking women that are sitting in the audience and don't understand how to navigate through life and how to sort out their emotions because they don't have fathers. I bet cash money that 90% of them women did not grow up in a house with their parents, with both parents in the home, day in and day out. I bet money. And you see, and I'm going to tell you one of the key signs of that is you'll see the over emotional dysfunction to where, and one of the things you're going to notice here, Black women, when they're given an opportunity to speak, they get to the point where they almost break down and cry and go into tears. They get so emotional because they finally have somebody that's able to listen to them and speak to them, and or to even hear them, that they don't know how to take it. They get so overwhelmed and so flustered that they can't either get their thoughts out, or they take so long saying nothing because they're getting the attention. I'm going to address what you said too, Easy, in just a second.
We don't hear that what we want matters in church. We don't hear from our...
You shouldn't hear what you want matters in church. Church ain't for that. That ain't the pastor's job. What you want, today's sermon is going to come from the book of Galatians, chapter 9, verse 30. And the title of my sermon today is going to be, What You Want Matters. That ain't what church is for.
family members, we certainly don't hear it from our employers. So
I wish a motherfucker would come work for me and want me to tell them what they think and what they feel and what they want matters. Now, do I tell the people that I work with how much I appreciate them? Yes, I do. Do I ask the people when I work with that, hey, what do you think about this? I sure do. But that's not my job to do that every day. I don't come to work every day and be like, hey, what you guys want? What y'all thinking? I don't do that. That's not what a job is for. You see how displaced the expectations of Black women are? They think everybody and everything in this world should be all attention and all eyes on them, uplifting them, and just satisfying every want, need, thought, and idea. And if it's not, then it's wrong and it's a problem. That's not how life works. It is not everybody else's job to make you fucking feel good.
sometimes a therapist is literally just a person sounding back to you all of this stuff inside, helping you make sense of it, and then giving you a few tools to go out and navigate your week differently. And don't you deserve that?
You deserve to be able to talk to a therapist to get your shit together so you can go out and be a productive citizen. You deserve to have a professional help you navigate through your emotions and your feelings and your psychological breakdowns and whatever else is going on with you. You deserve that. You don't deserve for the world to deal with you going through that and having to support, encourage, reinforce positivity into your life every single day that you live in. That's not the world's job.
I want to come to the audience a little bit. I want to hear from a couple of folks.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
All right. Now, what Eric said about let me go back here. What he said about the mass shoot, a lot of mass shootings. I have to disagree with you on this one a little, bro. He says a lot of mass shootings are from whites who live in homes that foster hatred and superiority towards others. Okay. So here's my thing. We have a tendency, and this is going to be going back to part of my whole PTSD thing. So we have this tendency as America and as Black folks alike. When we hear the word mass shooting, we instantly equate that to white boy growing up, rural America's affluent suburb, and has gotten guns and go and kill a lot of people. Newsflash. If a mass shooting is qualified as 4 more people being shot at a particular shooting, how often does that happen in the Black community? How often does a mass shooting happen every weekend in Chicago? How often do mass shootings happen at the carnival up on 87th and the Dan Ryan? How often do mass shootings happen in Inglewood? How often do mass shootings happen in the Wild Hunnets? How often do mass shootings truly happen, Ben, if we classify them as that? If 57 people got shot in 2 days in Chicago, would that not be a multitude of mass shootings? Would that not classify as a mass shooting? Thing about it is, mass shootings happen just about every day and every weekend. Well, not every day, but in every weekend in Chicago, in Detroit, California, Florida, all over. It's just not national news until it's a white boy that does it, and it's a bunch of white kids that it happens to. How many clubs have been shot up in Chicago alone? And the only reason why I'm saying Chicago, because that's what I know, that's what I live, that's my experience. How many clubs then got shot up in Memphis? How many clubs then got shot up in Detroit? Wouldn't those classify as mass shootings? Houston. If that is the case, it wouldn't be a thing of saying it's more white boys doing this than blacks. We just accept it and bypass it and push it to the side because it's niggas. Because we are more inclined to accept gun violence with blacks doing it to blacks, more so on a mass level, more so than we are whites doing it to whites. I'm gonna let that sink in. Black folks shoot up nightclubs. It's a shooting. White boy go shoot 30 people in a nightclub once a year. When's the last time we had the gay shooting that happened down in Orlando where he went and shot up everybody? What did he shoot, about 35, 40, 50 people? Okay. Mass shooting, no doubt. No doubt, mass shooting. 52 weeks in a year. Let's just say, on average, 2 niggas get shot every weekend at a club. That's 52 shootings in a year. That's 104 niggas shot in a year. So, is it a thing of saying, well, how many people you shooting at once? Or is it a thing of how many people you shooting, period? Because if it's about lives and people getting shot, if I kill 10 people in a day, I might be a badass motherfucker. If you kill 100 in a year, you're a worse motherfucker. So if I got 10 bodies here in one day, and I got 100 bodies over a year, which one is the worst? A life is a life. A shooting is a shooting. Thank you. There is no difference. There is no difference. Because when was the last time you heard of a mass shooting in Orlando, Florida? You haven't. But that don't mean it ain't niggas that's dying in pork and beans in Florida is more or less valued than the niggas that's dying in Orlando. The media says so. The media says so. A shooting is a shooting. Someone getting shot, I don't give a damn. The bullet don't hit no different if you in the suburbs and a white boy and it only happened once every 10 years than if you a nigga in the hood and it happens every day. It happens. It goes down in the hood so much that we're desensitized. It don't matter. We don't think about it. It ain't as tough. It ain't as bad. Well, they shot 10 niggas last weekend, so, shoot 10 niggas this weekend. That's kind of the same. They kind of being consistent. That's what it's looked like. The media got tired of talking about the shit. 5 niggas shot in Roseland. God damn, wasn't it just 5 niggas shot in Roseland yesterday? Yep. Well, let's cover this one nigga shot up in Lakeview, because that shit don't happen up there all the time. I still can't get over the fact that a few years back on the 4th of July, 86 niggas got shot. 4th of July weekend. In literally about an 8-block radius of the city. And the shit was made front page news, but that was it. Yes, April Danielle, you are correct. There's more blacks killing blacks than white cops killing blacks. White cops killing blacks, white cops shooting blacks. It's about maybe, I'm being very generous here, maybe 1%. It's like a 0.99, some shit like that, like a 0.92 or some shit like that. More cops shoot more white folks than they do black folks. That's a fact. 3%? Okay. But you talking about blacks and killing blacks? Oh yeah. Turn on the faucet, let the water run. Let's do this.
Wade, we've been conditioned to demonize one another. Even if we've been traumatized, we, instead of looking at it as trauma, as young women, she's just promiscuous. She let it happen. She shouldn't have put herself in that situation. And then we talk about vulnerabilities. And
you see how she just glossed over that shit? She's promiscuous. She put herself in that position. Like that shit don't matter.
A little bit. I want to hear from a couple of folks.
Hi, I'm Nikki Wade. We've been conditioned to demonize one another. Even if we've been traumatized, we, instead of looking at it as trauma, as young women, she's just promiscuous. She let it happen. She shouldn't have put herself in that situation. And then we talk about vulnerabilities and how we've romanticized our strong black womanhood, but we've also romanticized for non-blacks that vulnerability is a right for them. Whereas for us, that's a luxury.
Thank you. My name is Maisha. I was raised by my grandmother, but I was raised culturally. So my
now this shit right here, brace yourself.
Therapy was the women came and we all sat down in a room and we poured out whatever needed to be poured out. In doing that, we were also able to self-reflect. I think we are afraid of therapy because culturally, before we were introduced to this new religion, we had each other. We sat down with each other and we talked to each other and we hugged each other. We cried, we laughed, we joked. And what happens in that women's group inside of that, because women govern women and men govern men.
Not true, and that's what's fucked up. I'm gonna stop right there. So, yes, Eric, she does sound dumb as hell. Being raised culturally, I don't know what the fuck that means. That's one of those things, and just like with the women in here, they just let that shit go. And don't nobody say, huh? The fuck? What the fuck does raised culturally mean? What she's trying to hint at is being raised in a Western world. That's where we at. You're talking about this religion, she's talking about Christianity. Because whatever religion she may be, whatever she believe, whatever. She's not making any sense. She's literally making some shit up. And she's talking about what we talked about in the beginning, about what happens in this house stays in this house, what happened in this hood stay in this hood. A bunch of dysfunctional, sick, broken motherfuckers talking amongst each other. You know what you learn how to do? You're not governing yourselves. You are literally condoning each other's behavior because all y'all doing is talking about it. Yeah, I know you sucked them 18 dicks, but girl, you was young. And it's okay to make mistakes when you young. No. No, women should not govern women because women govern women today. You see where the fuck we're at. Men govern men and women. That's what it needs to be. But don't nobody want to say that though. Men are the gatekeepers. We are the governors because we have, hey, rational, black and white, logical decision making. We don't give a fuck about all the extra shit. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, you're fucking wrong. I don't care what your experience is. You did some fuck shit that led you to the fuck shit that happened to you. That's how it's supposed to be. We were set to be the head. That's it. I don't know why black women have such a problem accepting that shit and accepting our role and understanding our role, but that's why this shit is so fucked up. We were set in position to quarterback this whole goddamn thing. Period. Men are the quarterbacks. God is the coach in the ear, talking on the mic, telling us what plays to run and all that shit. That's how it goes. Women are the fucking running backs and the receivers. You take the directions from the QB, yeah, you can go ahead and score, but it's me that calls hype. It's me that sets the offense up. It's me that's calling the plays and I'm getting from God. That's how it works. This ain't about you talking about we govern ourselves. Right, that's what y'all been doing. And that's why shit is so fucked up now. Because women are so busy trying to compete against each other that they want a motherfucker to be less than them. They want a motherfucker to go through what they go through. They don't want a motherfucker to be better than them. Men do. Because we want what's best for not just us, but for everyone. What's the saying? The difference between a king and a hero? A king wants what's best for his people. A hero wants what's best for everyone. Men are the ones that step up to be heroes. Men are the ones that step up to be kings. There are some heroes, there are some men that are better than other men. We don't just want what's best for us and we just keep our mouth shut and that's it. We want to help everybody. We're the heroes. We are the Avengers. That's what it is. Accept the position. And this is one of the biggest things I talk about with men and women when it comes to relating. You want to know what's wrong with men? You want to know what's wrong with women? Motherfuckers don't know their position. They don't want to play their position. Because while you lining up as the wide receiver, your dumb ass is looking saying, I want to be the quarterback. I want to throw the ball sometime. No. Be what you good at. You know when men fuck up and when men go wrong? When we try to be God. Not be gods. We try to be God. Sometimes it's shit that's not in your wheelhouse. Sometimes you can function a little bit out of your skill set, but you're not designed to stay there. A Hyundai can go 90 miles an hour, probably. It's not designed to do that. A Ferrari is. You hear that? A Cadillac ain't designed to go 100 miles an hour, even though it can. It can do it, but it ain't designed for that. A Lamborghini is. A Porsche is meant to be driven fast. A Cadillac is not. A Corvette is meant to be driven fast. It's not a luxury vehicle. A Lincoln is. Now, Now, when you talk about a Bentley is a luxury vehicle and it's built to be driven fast. How many of us are truly Bentleys? How many of us own Bentleys? But a Bentley is not a Bugatti. A Bentley is not a McLaren. So yes, it can go fast. Yes, it has a luxury ride to it. But when you line that motherfucker up at the track with a motherfucking Lambo, it's a wrap. Think about it. It's just like when people talk about guns. Oh, you don't need to have an AR-15. You don't need to have a semi-automatic rifle. Hold up. I don't need to have a motherfucking Ferrari. I don't need to have a Bugatti. A car that goes 200 miles an hour is not just a danger to me. It is a danger to everyone that is on the road with me. A car that goes 200 miles an hour is not designed to be driven on city streets, rural streets, or anywhere else besides the fucking Autobahn. And even then, it's not designed to be driven at 200 miles an hour. But I can sure enough go buy one now, can I? I don't need to have no fucking red bottom shoes. Some fucking New Balances will serve my purpose just well. But I can still go buy them now, can I? Everybody don't need a 60-round drum. But I should be able to buy one. Because you never know. I might have 100 Haitians coming at my door like I was threatened a few years ago. I'll send 100 Haitians at your door, man. Exactly. I don't need a watch to have diamond studs and the entire face of it paved in diamonds. I don't need to have that. But I can sure enough get it, can I? There are people who could benefit a whole lot better off of the $200,000 I spend on a watch versus the $200,000 I could give to a community. I can still buy that fucking watch though, can I? Because I got my money and I earned it my way and I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do with it. So if I want to go buy an AR-15 and I want to buy a 60-round magazine, why should I be able to buy one? Because they fucking make it. Just like I can go buy a goddamn Lamborghini. There is no place in this fucking country where you can go 140 miles an hour. There's no legal area where I can drive 140 miles an hour on the goddamn highway, expressway, byway, whatever. But I can sure buy a car that can do that. And even if I do go 140 miles an hour in a car, I'm endangering my life. I'm endangering the lives of those that are around me. And if I do kill somebody, I then have to suffer the consequences for it. If I get caught driving that fast because it's against the law to do so, I have to suffer the consequences for it. Ticket, fine, and even get my license revoked or suspended. Right? The Second Amendment gives me the right to have a gun. Period. I'm not breaking the law by having one or having 100. I should be able to buy as many as I want. And if I kill somebody unlawfully, then I suffer the consequences for it. I go to jail, I pay a fine, or I get my fucking life taken and I gotta get the death penalty. Same goddamn thing. So you tell that to all of your gun reform fucks that's on the fucking left side talking about we gonna come take your guns. Take the Lamborghinis first. Take the Ferraris first. Take the McLarens. Take the Bentleys. Your car goes too fast. You shouldn't have it. What does Biden say? Buy a shotgun. Buy a fucking Yugo. Buy a Buick. Tell them that. Because driving is not a right. Driving is a privilege. Just in case you didn't know. There's a difference. There's a difference between a right and a privilege. A right is something you get no matter what just because you're born in this motherfucker. A privilege is something that you have to earn. You have to take a test. You have to be licensed to have it. It's a difference. Exactly. John says the highest speed limit in the USA is 85 miles an hour. So that means no car should ever be made to go faster than 85. And any car that is currently made to go over 85 should be confiscated and the government should buy it back. And then you go buy another car that does less, 85 or less. Let's get a car buyback program first because there are far more people dying from automobile accidents than they are from AR-15s. Fact. More people die in car wrecks every year than people who get killed by AR-15s. Facts. That's what it is. That's the truth. Oh, yeah, you got to get that Challenger up. And you bet not have a Hellcat. A Hellcat is like having a fucking automatic weapon. Can't have no Hellcat. 760 fucking horsepower. You don't need that. Buy a Buick. Get a Malibu. Huh? Tell fucking Biden and them to stop flying private. Private jets are ruining the environment. They should book a flight and fly United just like everyone else. You don't want to fly with other people? Buy a car. Get a Buick. Drive to where you need to go.
What happened in that room stayed in that room. You wasn't shamed, nothing like that, because they understood. The elders in the room were able to relate to you and say, child, just wait. Understand this. You feel this because of this. Spirit is speaking to you. God is speaking to you, and that's why you feel that way.
Here's the problem with what you're saying, young lady. What if the people that are around you that are giving you advice, what if they're just as sick as you are? What if they're sicker than you are? That's the problem with what she's saying. I don't know what my group, what my village, how healthy they are. I don't know how mentally stable they are. I don't know what tools they have and that they will give me in order to navigate through life or through my situation or through my problem. So if my circle of women don't have the tools that I need, and that's who I'm relying upon, that's who I'm depending upon, I'm at a deficiency, I'm at a loss. Case in point, the tool I need is a hammer. However, in my circle, all I have is a saw, a square, a hacksaw, a screwdriver, and a ratchet set. The tool I need is a hammer. I have nails that I have to hit. All I have are cutting tools and I have driving tools. I don't have a hitting tool. The tool I need is a hatchet. All my women, because we govern ourselves, we just a bunch of screwdrivers. I don't have the tools. That's why you need a professional. Because a professional goes and learns all the tools. A carpenter knows how to build because a carpenter has learned from builders. A carpenter goes to school to learn how to be a builder. A carpenter learns how to frame. Now, if I know how to frame and carpentry is my skill, that doesn't mean I'm a plumber. That's my point. That's why women shouldn't govern women. Because you don't necessarily have all the tools in the room. And sometimes you need a professional to know that. That's the difference between a family counselor and there's a difference between a psychiatrist. Right? A psychiatrist is the person who can prescribe drugs, right? Yeah. There's a difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist can give your ass some pills and some dope and some chemical balance shit to balance you. A psychiatrist can figure out what's going on with you chemically. Hey, the problem that you're having is that you're not getting this chemical. So let's give you this. Psychologist is going to sit there and look at your ass and listen to you. Oh, you feel this way. Well, why do you feel that way? Not saying it's not that's a bad thing. But the thing is, there's tools. Depending on what you need, that's what it should do. That's why you need professionals. That's why it needs to be more than just the whole idea and concept of a village. It's more people with different thoughts. It's more people with more ideas. It's more people having the conversation. It ain't just your mama being your compass. It's your mama, your daddy, your granddaddy, your grandmama, your uncle, your auntie, your family friend, your cousin. It's everybody.
So anytime you feel fear, go ahead, do it, because something great is behind it.
Hi, my name is Tammy, and it took me a long time to decide to go to therapy. Bear with me.
Now watch this.
I spent 2 years.
You see that? Ain't been on the mic 5 seconds and about to lose her shit. The mental stability. They either do one or two things. They either keep talking in a never-ending fucking loop, or they emotionally break right before our eyes. Hasn't said a fucking word and is in tears already. That shows the imbalance of being raised without both parents. Emotions are good. You need emotions. They're okay. However, when there's imbalance, it's detrimental to your decision making. It's detrimental to your being able to express yourself. If every time I got on the mic, I came on here and I'll be like, oh, y'all know this is so hard for me. Just talking about these guns and these AR-15s is so much, because when I used to shoot, I used to always think about my daddy and I be shooting and then my guns. It's just so much. It's so hard to me. I just can't do it. It's so difficult to talk with these guns because it reminds me of my daddy. And I miss my daddy so much. It's so terrible. And I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just trying to work through that. It's hard to just keep shooting and practicing and having the guns and the right things on my gun. I got a bipod and it's just so, you couldn't get any fucking thing from me if I did that every time. You couldn't understand anything from me. You can't truly get beneficial information from me if I'm not even stable enough to speak. And that's what that is, because this shit she dealing with, this some shit that probably happened to her back when she was 6. And this bitch 46, and it's still hitting her like it happened yesterday. It's just like when people talk about their parents. They talk about their loved ones. You talk about somebody who was very important to you in your life and you miss them and you love them. I talk about my daddy. I love my daddy to death on my dead daddy. I love my daddy. But it doesn't bring me to where I'm emotionally unstable and can't speak because I'm so emotional about my daddy or my grandmama, my grandmothers. Not meeting my granddaddy on my mama's side is just the worst thing that ever happened to me, to where I can't function. My daddy not ever meeting my daughter. Sad. But it's not to where I can't function. It doesn't break me to where I can't even speak or express myself. That's something that men teach you. They teach you how to deal with your emotions. It's okay to have your emotions in your experience, but you still have to be able to function with those and be able to navigate through that. It's just like my daughter. My daughter, she can get so worked. If she disappoints me or her mother, she gets so worked up because she gets so hurt and she gets so emotional. If she does something wrong, she'll get so emotional. And I let her experience that. But I teach her how to stop, breathe, and speak. And she learns it now. I can literally say, 1. She knows how to take a breath. 2. 3. Now speak to me, sweetheart. What's wrong? I'm sad that I did what I did. She then can now tell me why she's so upset. She's not such an emotional wreck that she can't speak. She's still hurt. She's still upset. She can still cry. She can have tears in her eyes rolling. But she's able to stop and speak. Because now she's actually getting it out, which means she's going through that emotion. She's going through that pain like she's about to do right now.
Hi, my name is Tammy, and it took me a long time to decide to go to therapy. Bear with me. I spent 2 years in my room. On the outside, I come outside. I gotta go to work. When I die pretty soon, my daughters will be okay. I was like, God, you're gonna have to do something, because if I keep waking up like this, I can't. And so I finally started to go to therapy. And so one day I sat there and I cried the whole time, and it was group therapy. And she said, Tammy, stay after. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's gonna peep
nice to
inside and
see.
know that I'm hoping to die every day. And she said, you are suffering from anxiety and clinical depression. Your brain has changed. You're not Superwoman. You're having a nervous breakdown. She said, you're going to have to temporarily take medication to alter your brain back to the way it was.
Now, 2 things I'm going to say here. That's what being a strong black woman is. And that's why I hate that term. Because you can try to endure shit that you don't understand and shit that you should not endure. There isn't any badge of honor in going through that much shit and dealing with that type of anxiety the way you cannot function. That woman said she cried through an entire therapy session and she's emotional about it today. And she said it was 2 years ago. Do you understand that? And it came to the point to where there was like where the doctor is saying you may need to take some medication to help balance this shit out so you can navigate through it, because you're not able to deal with this well. Now, as far as the medical thing, taking pills, popping pills, taking this, I'm not well versed in that, and I really can't speak to that. So I don't know how that may help or hurt you, but I will say this. Anybody who's taking medicine for depression or anxiety or whatever the case may be, if it's helping you to have a better life, go for it. If it's helping you to where you can actually manage your life and navigate through life, go for it. I don't know about medications like that. I don't know what those medications do to you. I don't understand all the side effects and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know the true benefits of it. But I know that there are people who are taking antidepressants. I know that there are people that are taking medicine for anxiety and all of that kind of stuff. And if it helps you, I would definitely say go for it. Because the opposite of that is suffering. The opposite of that is not being able to manage your life. The opposite of that is you not being able to function as a normal person, whatever that may be. So the whole thing, I guess, to life, one thing is not too much of one thing is a bad thing. So the constant struggle should be, how do I achieve balance? How do I achieve balance? Where's my desire for balance? I desire balance. I desire balance for us, for you all. I want you to have balance. And the reason why I may get on one side or one side more than the other is because of the imbalance. I'm trying to tip the scale with lead and gold. I'm trying to tip the scale with a heavier element so that we can find balance. That's because now it's like this. I want to get here. Maybe it might go up and down a little bit, but at least we're here. You get in the middle. If you're somewhere in the middle and you're teetering, then it's just a matter of tweaking. But right now, it's like this. It's all fucked up.
And I cried when I went and got it. And I took it for a week and instantly saw a change in the chemistry of my body. And I said, now imagine if you would have did this 2 years ago. But so much stigma was behind it. And to this day, I'm better, thank God. I live. And my family now is still, what's wrong with you? Are you on drugs? You talk too much. You're too happy. I said, baby, I said, the cage bird is singing.
There you go.
My opinion on medicine is not to do it because I tried it. I was so numb. I didn't know whether I was coming, going, or where I was.
Gloria,
when you hear this initial conversation about therapy?
I just love hearing us talk about how beneficial it can be. That's something that I see a lot of women hesitate to go to therapy, Black women in particular, because they think, I should be able to pray it out, or I should be strong enough.
You think there's still that level of hesitation that we would have seen 5 years, 10 years?
No, it's much better now. I have many more Black women coming to see me than was 5 years ago.
Are there different kinds of things that people are coming to look for help, Black women versus white women, Latina, Asian women?
There is more trauma I see in Black women, but otherwise it's relationship issues, stress at the job, pretty universal.
Thank you.
So my thing is this, when it comes to like medicine, you have to understand this. Everybody is different. So taking a particular medication that you're prescribed, it gets back to my point that I made earlier about the troubleshooting thing. One medicine may make this person feel a certain way and their side effect may be headaches. The other person could be diarrhea and it can make shit worse. You have to find your balance. You have to try different things. You have to tell the doctor the truth. You have to give your doctor all of the information. And yes, you have to get second opinions. Because you're trying to literally find the right mixture, the right cocktail, if you will. It's like, for me, a mixed drink, like when I drink my drink, having a mixed drink, it's not about having a lot of alcohol and a little juice. I don't like that. It's about having a little bit of alcohol and a lot of juice because I like the way it tastes. Now, I'ma still get the buzz. I'ma still feel good with it. Some people like a lot of liquor and a splash of juice for color. That's it. Motherfuckers say, give me a double shot or a triple shot and just a splash of Coke just for color. I'm not like that. A lot of people want to just drink straight out the bottle or just chug a beer trying to get to the same place, but they're taking a different vehicle and a different approach to it. So it's like when you're talking about what it is that you're taking, yes, it can make you feel fucked up. It can make you feel terrible. It can make you feel worse. But try different things so that you can try to get the right cocktail. You might take a drug that might not make you feel like you want to kill yourself anymore, but it make you so sleepy and you in such a fucking daze and you out of it where you can't even function as a human. You like this all the time. I don't feel like killing myself, but I don't feel like doing shit neither. It could be too much of one thing in this drug that you're taking. So you might try a different drug that gives you some of the same benefits, but is lighter in certain aspects to where you have more balance. Right. There you go. Amanda K said Xanax made you feel like she was a zombie. So it's like if it made you feel like it's a zombie, for me, it might make me feel wonderful. I fucking love it. I don't have any side effects. I feel like I can do anything in the world. It's different for everybody.
I feel like people have taken a step in being open to therapy, but where I think that maybe sometimes we're a little bit slower is being open to all the treatments, including medication. How many of us would be open to therapy, but frankly would be hesitant to try medication, antidepressants and the like? Tell me why.
Yeah, I've been hesitant about medication because, you know, as progressive as I am, I still also think I can keep it together, right? I mean, here's the thing. If a doctor told me that I needed medication, I would take it. Take your medicine.
I take ADD medicine because I have terrible ADD. Growing up, people were just like, oh, she talks a lot, she's kind of flighty. And then I was in therapy, and my therapist was like, I think you might have ADD. And I was like, me? No. And then I went to a psychiatrist, talked pretty uninterrupted for 10 minutes, and she was like, it's severe. And then I was so apprehensive about taking medicine because I was like, well, it's going to alter my brain. It might take a minute to get on the right meds because ADD, depression, anxiety, they're all sisters. They're all in your head going, we gonna get you. And one medication that's supposed to treat one thing might treat a whole bunch of other things. So I say, yeah, try it.
While a lot of people are hearing and relating to what everyone's sharing, I got to believe that there's somebody who's hearing this and saying, I don't believe it. I don't feel it. So I want to hear from a few of those folks. Let me hear from you if I can.
Hi, my name is Tammy. I want to talk about the medication part first because I'm a naturalist and I believe our ancestors and stuff, they went.
So here's my thing, and that's why I said I wasn't really too versed on this. So it's really a lot. There's really not a lot I can say about this or that I would choose to speak about this because I don't know the whole naturalist approach. I don't know if, pills are the way to go. I do know that there's so much in us because of our environment, because of things that we're exposed to that has fucked up our chemistry to where things are out of whack. And I believe that, yes, there are, whatever thing that may ail you, there's a natural type of counter measure, if you will, to actually counter that, but we don't know what that is. So it's like the whole holistic medicine and things like that. That shit is something that could help you. Having a holistic approach, I'm all for it because I don't know anything to speak against it. And the same thing with taking pills for every little thing. I don't think that's the answer either. I don't think that if you don't feel a certain way, or if you do feel a certain way, I think you need to pop a pill. If you bipolar, take a pill for it. I don't think that's necessarily the case. But what I do think is that when there's an extreme, when there is a huge tipping of the scale one way or the other, I do believe that holistic medicine, or whether he's talking about American medicine, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the opposite of holistic medicine is, half-listic, whatever the case may be, I do believe that medicine can help tip the scale back to a balancing, a managing level. So I would definitely say that, right? Like Easy said, you know, the ADD is bullshit. Studies have shown that taking medicine for ADHD is bullshit. Could be. But what do you do for people who have ADHD and there is no holistic approach? There is no counseling approach. There is no, I mean, what do you do? And that's one of the things that I don't really know about. So I really can't like speak on that. I would just say keep your options open and try to find a solution or try to find something that works one way or the other. I mean, it could be something where, hey, Dr. Sebi knows the cure. I don't know. I'm not a doctor and I don't know about holistic medicine, you know, but I do know that there's a lot of toxic shit that we have been exposed to and that are consistently being exposed to over years and generations that has affected our chemical makeup, that has affected how our body functions as far as chemistry goes and the chemicals that are being injected into us, ingested by us, exposed to us, you know, on a skin level, on a air pathogen level, whatever you want to call it. We're exposed to a lot of shit that's man-made, genetically made, chemically made, and we don't necessarily know how to counteract that. So it could be to where there's some medicine or some holistic approach that could do that. So I would just say that should be something that we should try to explore, or you should be open to exploring it one way or the other, whichever works best for you.
Went through things and it was natural remedies and stuff to heal things that we were going through, but at the same time, as a young child, we was military and we were forced to go through therapy because we couldn't speak about what was going on in our household outside to anybody. So we had to go through therapy, but I sat there, I didn't speak. Okay. In my older life, I was pregnant and I was assaulted. I almost lost my baby and she survived, and I wanted to go to therapy, so I looked up a therapy. I did my research. I found a Black therapist, a female. I held so much in, so when I found somebody, I was ready to just release everything, and I did that. And she opened up her voicemail and her phone number to me to be able to call if I couldn't reach her. I did that as well. After I started doing that, that's when she started.
Now, I have a wonderful opportunity to talk about this shit that's on her head, but I'm not going to do that. I want to get through this part.
To like fade away. She wasn't returning my phone calls. She booked my appointments 2-3 weeks out. She just became very distant. So I went back to the childhood phase of not wanting to go to therapy. I did try medicine. I tried it for probably a couple weeks. It did help. It did, but I ain't like the side effects.
Do y'all see this shit? I'm sorry, I just can't. And shout out to Deb with the my big fat Greek wedding mention. That's what's up. Do you see this shit that's on her head? Don't it look like it's just like one piece that'll come right off like a cake topper? Look at that shit. And you telling me that a motherfucker who wear that type of shit on their head don't need therapy? Man, that's a goddamn shame. It's like she took a fucking mop. Y'all remember them old school mops that'd be wrapped up around the damn thing? She just took a mop, took the stick out, and put that on her head and then shaped the shit because it probably just came all over her head like that. And then she just cut around it, cut some fucking bangs into it, and then dyed the shit black and walked the fuck out. Look at that shit. That is terrible. I don't know how niggas is okay with that. That shit ain't sexy. That shit ain't cool. That ain't just how he is. That's terrible and poor self-image. You don't like yourself if you wearing that type of shit. Goro hair is longer than hers. That old forearm, that's the nigga with 4 arms, right, Easy? Goro got the 4 arms, 2 up here and the other 2 down there, and they beat your motherfucking chest when he lock your ass up for the finisher. His shit longer than hers, because Goro's shit go up, then he got a ponytail that come down. He got some yaki that come back down past his shoulders. And that's all his hair. He got to go to Goro's Instagram. He'll tell you right now that's his motherfucking hair. God damn.
It made my stomach hurt. I don't oppose of anybody else's view, but I've been on both standpoints, so I just kind of view it differently a little bit.
Thank you. Let me hear from
Look
one or
at
two
her,
other
Nick. She
folks that
gotta
also
touch
feel
it.
like they have a different point
They
of view.
gotta
My
touch
name
that
is
shit.
Jill. I actually lost two sons. My
listen
oldest
to this
son
fuck
was murdered at 23, and then my other son went swimming and he drowned at 17. So,
Okay. Now you see that? What that bitch do?
so at the time that my oldest son passed away, I had just entered in.
He didn't pass away, he got killed. That's a difference. And ain't no, and see, this is the thing about men governing men and men governing men and women. When you got a room full of motherfucking dudes and women, that's where you can really make some motherfucking headway. Cause I would have been like, well, how the fuck did your son die? Was he in them streets? Where was his daddy? What happened? Why was he out there like that? Where the fuck was you? What was you doing? If he died at 23, what was he like at 16?
Into the ministry. So I was preaching.
See
so I was
that?
in the pulpit. So
Out
I didn't
your lane.
understand.
So when I found somebody, I was ready to just release everything. So when I found somebody, I was ready to just, so when I found, but I ain't like the side effect and made mistakes.
God damn it.
Thank you. Let me hear from one or two other folks that also feel like they have a different point of view.
My name is Jill. I actually lost two sons. My oldest son was murdered at 23, and then my other son went swimming and he drowned at 17. So at the time that my oldest son passed away, I had just entered into the ministry. So I was preaching. So I was in the pulpit. So I didn't understand how I increased the kingdom, yet he decreased my household, and then turn around and take another son. So that was really challenging.
So now, and I hate how motherfuckers always blame God. So now he took your sons. He took one son, then he took another son. While you was in the pulpit preaching and increasing the kingdom, he took your sons. How you gonna blame God for a son that probably got killed in them streets and another one that didn't know how to swim or probably couldn't swim or was probably swimming in the wrong environment?
Challenging for me. So I held a lot of it in. People in the church tried to help, but I was very angry. Still have a little relationship with God when working out. But my opinion on medicine is not to do it, because I've been on both sides. I tried it. I was so numb. I didn't know whether I was coming, going, or where I was. For 2 years, I missed out on my other son, who was 7 years younger than my one that was taken.
See, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to you, Easy. I'm going to tell you one of the best things that my father ever did for me. And I'm probably going to have to cut this and do 2 parts. But one of the best things that my father ever did for me was he made me learn how to swim. And I hate it, as most kids do. I started at a late age. I didn't start learning how to swim till I was like, I don't know, about 8 or 9. And one of the things that I hated was I hated getting water in my face. I hated to go underwater because I hated the way that water would get in my nose and get in my eyes, the chlorine from the pool. So I hated that. And I didn't want to learn how to swim. So when my dad would be trying to teach me, he'd be trying to show me, I would always be like, I just do a little, I just put my face in and come back up and wipe my face. That's what I would do. And I would in my mind as a young boy, I was hoping, why ain't that enough? Why you keep fucking with me? You see I don't like doing this shit. Why you make me do this? And one day I just came, my dad used to pick me up. We used to go twice a week and go, and he would spend time with me on his off days to try to teach me how to swim. And one day I just asked him, I said, Daddy, I don't like swimming. Why do we keep having to go swimming all the time when you off? And he told me, he said, you need to learn how to swim, son. I said, yeah, but I don't like it. He said, yeah, you need to learn how to swim because you never know where you may be, where you may need to swim. I said, well, I ain't going to go nowhere where it's water. I ain't going to go in the water. I ain't going to go down to the beach and go in the water. He said, yeah, that's true. He said, you can do that. He said, but what if somebody you love goes in the water? What if one of your cousins don't know no better and they go get in the water? and they can't swim. And you can't swim. They could die because you didn't learn how to swim. He said, now you can learn how to swim, son, and don't swim. But if you ever have to swim, you should be able to. You might have to save my life, your grandmama's life, your mama's life, your brother's life, your sister's life, or even one of your friends. And I learned how to swim. I learned how to swim. And not only did I learn how to swim, I took to the water like fish. I became a junior lifeguard at my local swimming pool. Shout out to West Pullman Swimming Pool. I did. Had 2 saves as a junior lifeguard. So not only did I learn how to swim, I became a badass swimmer. Because he made it real to me. He made me understand why I needed to learn something I didn't like and I didn't want to fucking do. Because it ain't always about me. It's about us. It's about everybody. It ain't about just the kingdom. It's about everybody. So my daddy, not realizing it maybe then or maybe he did, I don't know. But he was teaching me to be a hero as opposed to just being a king. He was teaching me and giving me a tool to be able to save not just myself, but to save others. So yeah, Easy, you don't know how to swim. And all you can do is float. But if you ever in the water and you're around me, you'll never drown. Not because I'm such a great swimmer, not because I know lifeguard techniques and I know how to swim and I know how to rescue motherfuckers. I know about reach, toe, and go, but because of my daddy.
His life. And to this day, I'm still trying to get that back. And that depresses me. And I'm going to share something else. In 2 days from today was the anniversary of my 17-year-old when he went into a coma. I don't know. I really didn't know why I was here. And don't think I don't have a connection with God, because obviously he put me here now for this situation. And I really appreciate, because as I look out and I look amongst everybody here, I see loving, caring faces that really understand a woman's hurt. It gives me that strength to be able to stand here now and know that in 2 days I have to relive that moment of my 17-year-old. I would love to go back to therapy because, yes, I fired my psychiatrist. I fired my psychologist. I feel like they let me down. Telling me that I had bipolar did not work. Putting me on all those medications did not work. Praying, unfortunately, it does not help. So when I leave here, I do want to know how to get in touch with you because I need help right now. You know, I do.
Now, you talking about a woman? Jesus ain't helped me. Psychiatrist didn't help me. Therapy didn't help me. My friends didn't help me. You know one thing she didn't mention? She ain't say shit about no husband. She ain't say nothing about how her husband helped her deal with what she was going through. She didn't say nothing about how it was with her son after her first son got killed and where her boyfriend was, where her nigga. Nothing about a man. Not saying that a man will cure her problems. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to being a parent, it takes two. When it comes to being a mother needs a husband and because a child needs a father. My mama can't swim, but her her son can. So she ain't gonna drown on my watch. You feel me? My mama didn't see the necessity and the need for me to learn how to swim because she couldn't teach it to me. But she was smart enough to stay out of my daddy's way so that he could. How many mothers save their kids, their sons or their daughters from their daddies teaching them something? When the daddies say, no, he needs to learn this. I need to teach him this. No, he don't. You doing it too rough. You yell too much. You do this too much. Women don't know how to stay out of their own way, let alone their children's way, to let them grow and to be better than them. Because in most women's nature, it's not there. Most women don't think, I want my kid to be better than me, because they wasn't raised with both parents in the first place. Because that's something you learn from your daddy. If you a woman and you grow up around nothing but women and you live with nothing but women, you ain't never had no daddy, ain't never had no consistent man in your life, ain't used to male energy and all of that, you know what you learn? You learn how to survive, not how to thrive. You learn how to make it. Just enough to make it. That's all I need, Lord. My sweet Jesus, just let me make it. That's what you learn. You don't learn how to build and to create and to better and to thrive in your own environment in a fashion to where you can get out of that environment and go and excel in another. That's what fathers teach you. Fathers will do whatever it takes to make you thrive. What's the movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro? I want to say A Few Good Men, but that ain't it. It's Cookie. Robert De Niro is Cookie, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is a soldier. It's not A Few Good Men. God damn it, what is the name of that movie? A diver, where he's a diver. He's a Navy diver. A Navy diver is a such and such. He doesn't. Men of Honor. Bam. Men of Honor. That's the movie. If you watch Men of Honor, there's a part early in the movie where Cuba Gooding Jr. is working the farm with his daddy. He quits going to school to help his daddy sharecrop. And you know what his daddy does? Blisters on his hands. He shows, I don't want you to go through this. I don't want you to have to deal with this. You go back to school. I'll figure it out. He sacrificed himself for his son. And when his son got old enough, and when his son was going off, getting on the bus to go off to school, to go off to the Navy, his mama, oh, I don't want my baby to go. I love my baby so much. I love you. But his daddy hugged him. He said, look here. Don't you ever come back here. You know why he did that? It wasn't because he didn't love his son. It's because he loved his son so much that he didn't want his son to suffer his fate. His daddy already knew that it was too late for him. His daddy knew that his own fate was sealed. But my son can live on and live a better life than me. And that's why he gave him the most important thing that he had with the instructions. Don't ever come back here again. And he carved on that box. And later, Robert De Niro put on there what it was. A son never forgets. Because a son doesn't. And his son had a drive put in him that let him propel himself to that of a master chief. Because he knew at the end of the day, can't come back there because my daddy told me not to. So everything that I'm doing is to keep me from having to come back to make my daddy proud, because a son never forgets, because I am my father's son. That's a mentality. Most women don't want their babies to leave them. Most mamas don't want their sons to go. Most mamas will baby their sons to the point to where they cripple them. Most mamas will do that. They will pamper and hold on to and coddle and make excuses for their sons to stay with them because they don't want that man to leave them. Even though that man ain't theirs, it's a man that they know. It's a man that they know that is loyal to them. So they'll do anything, even cripple that man as a human, as a productive human of society. They will cripple him to keep them close. Whereas a father will send that man out to go build, to go create, and to go extend my legacy. Because what I am and what I'm not, I give to you. Be better than me. Do more than me. Build an empire and a family greater than mine. That's what men want for their father. That's what men want for their sons. That's what fathers want for their sons. A woman, go survive. Do whatever it takes to make it. Do whatever you need to do to survive. You need to survive in this world. Once you learn how to survive, you also need to thrive. That's why it takes two. That's why it takes two. That's why fathers take their sons and shape them and mold them to be more than what they are. That's why fathers teach their daughters to pick and choose better men than them. My daughter can't come home or bring a nigga home that ain't meeting or above my standards. She can't. Now, if she chooses to, that's on her. But she will not have my favor. I love my daughter till the day she died, till the day I die. She won't have my favor, though, when she does not abide by my wishes. Because even though she don't know, what I want for her is more than what she wants for herself. That's why women need to listen to men. That's why men should be the head. That's why men are supposed to quarterback. That's why men should be in the position that they're in. Because they want more for you than you want for yourself. Think about women. Think about all them niggas that you went with, fucked on, let fuck you, let dog your ass out, and think about that other nigga that would never have done that. You equate him to being weak, but you equate the thug bad boy to be your heart's desire. That man that you call weak, that's a simp, sucker, lame. He actually thinks higher of you than what you think of yourself and wants more for you than what you want for yourself. And you are so immature in your decision making. You are so damaged and make poor decisions because you are damaged to where you can't even see that for yourself. And then that man that treats you like shit know that he treating you like shit, and you know he treating you like shit, You still have a desire for him because you want to change him. If you could change him, then that's a reflection of you. Fuck what you can do for yourself. You want to do something for another motherfucker to show what you can do yourself. That makes no sense. There should be nothing that you would do for someone else or bring out in someone else that you're not bringing out in yourself. That's insane. That's why you shouldn't choose. That's why you need a daddy. That's why you need to fuck a man that's going to be a good father. That's why. Because when you go with your desires, the shit is fucked up because your desires are based on your mentality, based on where you at today. Not 20 years from now, not 2 years from now, hell, not even 2 weeks from now. You might feel completely different. That's why men should be the head. Because we're not just thinking about us. Now, yes, let me be fair. Yes, we thinking about us because you fine. Yes, we thinking about us because we know how it feels when that dick goes in that nice, wet, creamy pussy. Them nice, juicy, soft, milky titties. Them nice, beautiful hips. That nice chocolate skin when that dick go in and come out and you watch it. Yes, when your nice lips wrap around this dick and it sucks, it feels so good. When I bust that nut and you swallow it. When I bust that nut and you say, yeah, come inside me, daddy. That's for us. It strokes our ego. It makes us feel good. When you tell me this is the best dick you've ever had and your dick feels so good inside me, daddy. Yes, that's for us. After that moment, we still want more for you than what you want for yourself. We still want you to be the best you can be with us. That's why men get so invested to the point to where they feel if I can't have you, nobody can. Because I want you more than everybody in the world. Crazy than a motherfucker? Yes. But when you're talking about somebody who wants nothing but the best for you and will build you up, support you, do whatever they can, run through a brick wall, walk on hot coals, run through the fire for you, you consider that weakness and lameness because you didn't have a daddy that taught you that's what you want. You want that nerdy motherfucker that's coming up with the next goddamn biggest thing because that's going to help you have a better life. That's what you want, which is going to help your children have a better life than what you had. That's what a father does. That's what a father does for his daughter. He prepares his son to be the best at this, the best at that. Make this, make that better, build this stronger so that you can take care of your family, your wife and your children because she's going to depend on you to lead the way. So I have to teach you how to lead. That's what he's there for. That's what a father does. A mother teaches a young man how to be nice, how to understand women, how to talk to women, how to take care of a woman, how to hug and kiss on a woman. Yes, they do. But a father teaches his son how to build. A mother teaches her daughter how to support and to love and to nurture and to take care of and support her man. Because what she puts into her man then provides for her. That's why I always talk about the yin and the yang. What you put into him, he will put back into you. You will reap the benefits of what you sow into him. That's how it works. So the more you take care of your man, the more you support your man, a good man, the more he will provide and bring back for you, the more he will put into you, the more he will allocate towards you. When men get to making so much money, they don't give a fuck about how you spend it, especially when you helping them make it. So you want your red bottoms and shit like that? Then you need to be putting red bottom care into your man. And that may include you sucking some dick when you tired. That may include you doing this or doing that, rubbing some feet. That may include you just saying, look, daddy, just give me some dick. Just hit it real hard, real fast, real quick before you go to work. That's what that may be. I think I'm going to end it right here because we had like 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we'll pick up part 2 tomorrow. But my thing is this. There's so many things that we are lacking as men and women. But the women, you are in such a position of power to where it's going to take you to begin to change yourself to right the ship, because you're in charge and you're in control of raising the boys. You're in control of raising the girls. Start putting yourselves first by putting yourself in a position to where you're able to take care of yourself financially. Before you have a baby, before you go finding your thug dick, before you go finding that nigga, before you go finding all that, be in a position where you taking care of yourself. Not by the state, not by the government, but you in a position where you can take care of yourself. Then you can have something to bring to the table besides your body that can actually help build something with a builder. You have raw materials that a builder can use to build something. And men, come to the table with more than just some slick game and some dick. Have something. Have a good job. Have some means and some resources. Have some connections. One of the worst things in the world is a nigga that feels sorry for himself and don't do shit but make excuses as to why he ain't getting shit done or doing shit with his life. They won't let me. They don't give me no chance. They won't let me. Don't nobody help me. Don't nobody love me. Ain't nobody there for me. It's one of the worst things in the world. I can't stand that kind of nigga. That kind of man. Don't do shit but make excuses about how ain't nobody helping him and ain't nobody there for him. Then you get a woman that gives you everything and all the help and support you need, and then all you do is piss it away and do nothing with it. But take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. I'm going to pick this up tomorrow. We're going to do a part 2 and get it cracking. Let me see where we at so I can make sure I know.
Hi, my name is Karen Camper. I'm a state representative from Memphis, Tennessee. Mental health has been a stigma in our community. So it's hard for me to make good public policy because people are not willing to talk about it so that I can take it back and do something about it. So I'm optimistic about that today. Praise the Lord.
All righty. We're going to end it right there. Praise the Lord. See, we got something here that I can take back to him, and then we can both do that. I'll build up a strong crossover audience, and then I can come out strong. All right, guys. I want to give a shout out to Lady La. What's happening, Lady La? Thank you so much for donating. She said thanks. That's what's up. I appreciate you so much, sis. That's what's happening. And also to my man Eugene 4. He says, hey, dropping them jewels as always. Hit your brother off with $5.55. Lady Lot, hit your boy off with $3. That's what's up. We got a hot 8 right now, $8.55. I'm gonna check this young PayPal, and we gonna get on up out of here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. All right. And PayPal ain't nothing else, so we good. Hey man, look, I appreciate you guys, and to everybody that came on tonight, I really thank you guys. Thank you for clicking the like. Thank you guys for just doing what it is that y'all do and coming through and supporting your boy. Y'all ain't got to come here. Y'all ain't got to click the damn like. Y'all ain't got to do shit, but y'all do, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. I love doing what I do, and I love the fact that y'all dudes y'all dudes and women come and support me every night. Shout out to you, Beverly Jones. I know that you said I saw that you said you miss your husband, and I can only imagine what type of absence and what type of void that is. But hey, was it because that was yeah, I think that was Beverly, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Yeah. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you staying up late to hang out with us. It's all good. Shout out to you, Amanda K, for keeping the chat going. My man Kevo4, Richard Lovelace, Big Kurt. That's what's happening. Hitting with the man of honor, my man Skohar, April Danielle. Thank you guys. Thank you, ladies, for always saying what needs to be said, and thank you all for just giving your experience. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it because it matters. And when other people watch this, they can see that it ain't just them. They can see that it's more than just them. Shout out to my man Tim Dog. Shout out to Sylvester M. Deb. Thank you guys so much. My brother Eric, I love you, man. And to everybody else that joined the show, even if you didn't say nothing, just listen to me run my mouth. I appreciate you. Gratitude. Shout out to my man DJ Just JOK. Shout out to Lady La, Princess X, my man Bolo, and to my brother from another mother, my brother Tommy Sotomayor. I hope that you are well, and if you're not, I hope you get well, brother. I love y'all. Peace, and I'm out. Shout out to Soto Nation and the AFC, and to my lovely wife. I love you, baby. Y'all have a good night, and tomorrow we'll pick it back up with part 2. Where what is that Telemundo Caliente, where TV is hot. Donde Telemundo Caliente, where TV is hot, right here. Peace out, guys.